welcome back to SuperCoach Edge. It's always a pleasure to have your company, and we are here with the first official video for AFL SuperCoach 2025. Of course, it is still 2024, but we have been delivered this juicy present, an early Christmas present, if you will. The SuperCoach AFL Team Picker is open. So if you do have access to the SuperCoach Plus, of course, if you are a member, you need to subscribe to it. If you were a subscriber last season, you get automatic access to this. I think if you can sign up now, you can still get access to it. So look into that. It is via SuperCoach Plus. But this is it. I haven't had a look at it as yet. I've seen some people throw out some, quick teams on socials, and there are some absolute juicy players, I must admit, this season compared to even 2024, but even prior to that as well. I think it's really going to change the game. We know as well that SuperCoach has, initiated the flex position as well, which I did a separate video on that, talking about the flex position for BBL SuperCoach. So I thought, it's probably a double up if I do another video. But for those people that don't know about the flex position, it's virtually an extra spot on field, and it takes your best 18 scorers of the 19 players that you have on field. So whoever's the lowest scorer drops out, and it just provides a little bit of a fail-safe for those players that are, as we know, Sanders, that would have been absolutely fantastic. Riley Sanders being subbed a couple of times by the mischievous Bevo, and even players get injured early on in games as well. So it means that your, round isn't kaput if a particular player gets, catapulted by injuries or subs or whatever. But without further ado, let us flick across to the website. Now, as you can see below here, if you are playing BBL SuperCoach, that's the code to our open league. So feel free to join that if you haven't already. If you are playing BBL SuperCoach, the season has kicked off already. We are towards the back end of round one. But feel free to have a bit of a go at it if you haven't already. It's a really fun format to play. But this is the stats. This is how I finished in 2024. Unfortunately, I slid down the ranks, I think the last month or 5 weeks of the season. That was my finishing rank. Not too good, considering that I was aiming towards the top 1K at one stage. But anyway, that's by the by. Let's get into it. Enough stuffing around. So if you are, as I said, a SuperCoach Plus subscriber, you'll see this once you click into your team, the 2025 Team Picker gold button there. So there you go. Once you click on that button, it'll take you through to what we see here, the blank slate that will end up being your team for 2025. And you'll notice, as I said, down below, that's the new flex position there. But outside of that, everything else is the same. Now, I will be scrolling through it's not as slow as I can because I don't want this video to go on forever, but I will be scrolling through just checking out prices of players and whatnot, because that's kind of what we're here for, first and foremost, have a bit of a play around. So if you want to check out prices in particular, you can put, I think, this video on half speed, I think through YouTube if you're watching us on there. But likewise, if you're listening in via the audio podcast, I do recommend jumping across to YouTube and checking out the visuals, just so you can see the breakdown of pricing, because I'm not going to be going through every particular price for the 100 million players that we have available to us. But let us go through the defense first and foremost. And I should mention as well, for the flex position, you can pick any player from any position. So you're not shoehorned into picking any particular player. It can be anyone that you see fit. So strategically, you could go for another primo, you could go for a mid-pricer, you could go for another rookie. Now, keep in mind as well, with the flex position being introduced, I think overall the pricing of players has dropped by 3%. So, we're given a $10 million salary cap, which hasn't changed, unfortunately. So I think, based upon that 3%, it's $300,000 difference, overall, if you look at it in that sense. But because our salary cap hasn't changed, it does make it a little bit more difficult, despite the fact we've got that extra 3% discount on player pricing overall on average. It does mean that, you'd need to take a haircut somewhere in your team in order to fit in that extra primo on field in that flex position. But we'll talk about that another time. Let us go through the defense. And as you can see, Flanders, he is the most expensive player, 641.5K, and just above Harry Sheezel at 635.6k. I'll read out the top 5 for each position, and then you can go through and scroll and see the other players. In third, Luke Ryan is the third most expensive, 628.3k. Lockie Whitfield, 598.1, and Dane Zorko at 595.1k. Of course, Zorko only a defender in 2025, lost his DPP status, and that will be, across the board, be players that will have obviously changed positions and gained DPP as well at that. But I think in terms of the players that I'd be looking at, Sheezel is definitely one. I think Flanders, even though he is the most expensive, I don't know if it could go for him. You select players as you go, and then you kind of find that you're strapped for cash, so you need to go back and rejig. But I'd love to start with Flanders, even though he is priced quite loftily at 641.5k. He is a defender midfielder as well, so he still has DPP status, which elevates him even further, I think. Sheezel is a defender only. Sheezel I'm a little bit worried about because I reckon he might be introduced ever so slowly into the midfield in 2025, which might put a little bit of a cap on his scoring output. Who knows? But I think from what we've seen of him and his ability playing off halfback, that he's an absolute accumulator. Let us scroll down. Sinclair, maybe 592.2k. I haven't really compared the pricing to those prices that they ended with for each player, but we might do that at a later stage, comparing, I guess, value, but we'll just do it on face value here. Dan Houston is at 575.6k. Scrolling through. Maxi Holmes is a defender mid. Don't mind him, 533.9k. If Stewart goes into the midfield and Holmesy is freed up, maybe, but can we trust it? Speaking of Stewart, he's 521k on the dot. Dan Rioli, now at Gold Coast, is 500.4k. Looking for value. Colby McKercher, 476.9k. Now, speaking about Sheezel earlier, if Sheezel goes into the midfield, I can see McKercher being more of that Marshall off halfback and kind of stepping into the shoes of Sheezel full time. So I don't mind that. I do think Zach Fisher, who is priced at 458, will be in the VFL for majority of the season unless they get injuries north. So I don't mind McKercher here, but again, I'm a little bit worried about him and his positioning. Just don't have any surety about that as yet. So I probably want to monitor across the pre-season. Sardi, 468.2. Trent Rivers isn't bad. 462.9k as a defender mid. Who else jumps out off the page? Barras at the Hawks now is 452k. Kane Farrell, we need to work out who's going to step into the shoes of, his name escapes me. I should know him because he was linked to us over the preseason. Dan Houston. We need to find out who's going to step into his shoes at Port Adelaide, and Farrell could potentially be that player. I think there's been Josh Sin as well spoken about as a potential to step into his shoes as well. Matt Roberts, bit of a, bolter at the Swans, as we know, in 2024, priced at 434.8k. There aren't really any other players. Noble, 421.4k, that are really jumping off the page. Lawson Humphreys at 418.5k, defender only. Perryman now at the Pies is 417.5k. Yeah. There aren't really, in defense, I imagine you'd probably need to pay top dollar. There is a fair bit of value in the forward line, as we've been spoken about with McRae and Basilenka and stuff. So considering we're saving money in the forward line, you could probably afford to go a bit top heavy in defense. So I don't mind that, but we'll still keep scrolling through. Nick Haynes of Carlton, 376.5k. Zach Williams, 366.4. So I'm just highlighting guys that have changed clubs or coming off an injury that might have a bit of a discount. Sam De Koning at the Cats, 361.9k. Callum Mills, 357.2k of the Swans. I think he is great value. Now, it does come down to where he's going to play. Without Horse being at the helm of the Swans, We need to see how Dean Cox is going to utilise Mills. Is he going to play him through the midfield? Is he going to play him off half back? He's kind of been that utility Millsy. But, obviously coming off extended time off field due to injury in the preseason in 2024, only playing 6 games, it means that he does come at quite a bit of a discount. So at that price point, I really, really don't mind him. So I reckon he's someone that a lot of people will be contemplating starting in their team. We'll continue on, scrolling through. Archie Roberts is an interesting one. He was a bolter as well for the Dons. He's a defender midfielder as well with that DPP, priced at 338.4K, finished with an average of 78.5. So he's an interesting one, but that awkward price point really, especially for someone that's only played the 4 games in 2024. But he's someone to keep note of. Scrolling through. Yeah, no, there aren't really any guys here in the 300K range that jump off the page. I may be missing guys as well, so I'm just trying to go through as quick as I can, as I said. So if I have missed anyone, let me know. But Gideon Coleman from the Lions, obviously doing his ACL, the poor fella, in round 1 of 2024, comes in at even more of a discount, obviously, 269.1K. So I think he's someone that a lot of people, again, will be starting, and fingers crossed he can have a bit of a free run at it without injury. But that's 3 plays in my defence thus far with Flanders, Mills, and Coleman. But as I said earlier, I reckon it's a case of scrolling through here and seeing there isn't really much on offer in terms of value, and then having to pick the top end guys. Now, Josh Sin, I spoke about him earlier as, he's been spoken about as a potential to take the reins from Dan Houston as that rebounding defender. He's priced at 229.5K, so really is someone that we need to watch over the preseason. Rory Atkins now at Port, 233.7K. I don't think he's going to get a game for Port, and even if he does, he's not going to last long. He can't kick the footy. Scrolling through, we're now in the 200K range. There are guys that are discounted coming off injury or really haven't really had much of a go in 2024. There is Jed Buse of the Cats, 172.2K, but he's not going to score all that well. So probably not the best cash cow at that price point. But we do have Toby Travalia of St Kilda, their top draft pick, I think it was. He's a defender midfielder, 172K. So I really like him. I reckon he's going to play from the get-go. Play maybe off half-back, but maybe roaming onto the wings, getting a bit of a run through the middle. So I don't mind him at all. There's Jackson Pryor, who came from the Lions to the Dons. He's at 169.2K. There's Taru as well for the Saints, but as sort of that key position type player, 163K defender forward. I'm not as confident in his scoring, but Travalia, I reckon, might get a run through the middle at various stages. There is Gibkiss, of course, as well. We might select him just for now, but he did his ACL early in 2024, as we know, was scoring actually quite well up until his ACL injury. He's now priced at 153.6K. So I don't mind him as potentially a bench option. We're now into the 150K range, and there's not really much here. This is where we get into the new draftee territory. There is Bo Allen, 136K, defender midfielder for West Coast. I think he will get an early run, so we'll select him for now as potentially an on-field or bench option. There is Ben Patton, who obviously crossed from the Saints to the Swans, defender forward, 133.4K. He's another one as well. We'll just select him for now. Now we're into the draftees virtually. There is Saad Al Hawley, of course, the guy who's been spoken about almost as the new Saadi, who is going to be that rebounding defender for the Dons, impressed on the track as well. Was unlucky not to get a crack late in the season for the Dons, but I think he did sustain an injury which ruled him out for the year. Otherwise, he probably would have debuted in the red and black. But he is someone I think will be in a majority of teams, probably one of the more selected players in defence. So we'll definitely select him. There are other guys as well, like this Caleb Graham, who's listed as a defender. Interesting for the Suns. Yeah, they're all youngsters here. Zach Reed, 119.9K for the Dons. Poor bloke's just injury prone. There are a couple of names here that have been in the system for a year or two, like Jacob Ryan for the Pies, 119.9K. Does he get a crack? Billy Wilson's one from my mob at Carlton, defender midfielder, 119.9K. Might get an early run, maybe. One to watch at least. And then, yeah, we're just getting into all the youngsters. Yeah, there's no one else there that sticks out. But in terms of what was selected so far, we'll need to cull some of these, I think, unless we want to go super, super cheap in defence. Flanders, Mills, Kitty and Coleman, I reckon these three guys are ones that I think I'll definitely pick for the time being anyway. Travalia is probably a 75% chance. Gibkiss is one that I'd consider, but he's at that higher price point of 153.6K. Bo Allen, I reckon he's going to play, and he's got the added bonus for the DPP, 136K. Patton, I have the Swans. I don't know if he's going to play earlier or if he's just depth. So he's probably someone that would make way. But I think we probably need at least another, definitive, I guess, primo in defence here if we want to do that. So I reckon we will drop. I mean, Bo Allen can be pushed into the midfield and Patton into the forward line as well. So we might make way with Bo Allen and then select another primo defender. I still haven't worked out in terms of the best structure as yet because that is dictated by, the value across the board in each position, but also, just in terms of like those positions that we can go a bit more feeble in. If there's a heap of value with the forward line, for example, you definitely can. But then, it doesn't then mean that you can load up in defence potentially. So we'll have to work that out and we'll go back and backtrack. But for now, I will select Sheasel for the time being. I do like Wanganeen Millera as well. He was a little bit of a breakout last year. Holmesy, we spoke about all these guys. So we'll put Shees in there for now. We might put Bo Allen in the midfield. So we'll do that first and foremost, just so we don't forget him. So we now have jumped across to the midfield. So the top 5 price players, we have Bont at 681. In second spot, we have Butters, 648.9K. Lockie Neal in third at 645.9K. Sam Flanders, defender mid, as I spoke of earlier, 641.5K, but I think he's more value in defence. And then Nicky Dacos at 631.4K in fifth spot. And then I will mention as a little bit of a, an aside, Isaac Heaney. He's a midfielder only this season, unfortunately, 629.2K. So we got a fair bit of value out of Heens, as we know, in 2024, but now a mid only. Let us scroll through the rest. I might just read out the top 10, actually. I probably should have done that for the defense, but as I said, if you are listening to the podcast, jump onto YouTube and you can check it all out. Treloar is 628.2K in 7th spot. In 8th, Caleb Sarong, 623.5K, or 4K, sorry. Zach Merritt in 9th at 621.1K, and Josh Dunkley in 10th spot at 602.3K. So among those guys in the top 10, Bont is a little bit of value. I think, did he finish above 700K? I'll have to go back and have a look, but it seems like he comes at a little bit of a discount. Zach Butters, again, just a massive breakout season. I think Dacos, you can't go past him. I think he has to be selected just because his ability to play in defence, in the midfield, and he's just an accumulator. And I think he's going to be my tip for the Brownlow in 2025, and he's going to have a massive, massive year. I don't think, in terms of the arrival of Houston probably means that Dacos isn't needed off halfback. So it probably means he plays a bit more mid minutes, even more than what he played in 2024. But sky's the limit with Dacos, as we know. He's an absolute freak. I do like Caleb Sarong as well, priced down here in 8th spot at 623.4K. Or Merritt potentially as well. But we might go for Sarong. So at least 2 primos here, and we'll keep scrolling down. and we'll pinpoint any value as it presents. Sammy Walsh, my boy, I hold out hope that he's going to actually be injury-free and, really fulfill what we expect of him. But he's priced at 583.9K, just ahead of Goulden, 581.9. So I don't mind Walshy there, but we'll continue on. Tom Green, not bad, 574.2K. Rory Laird, he's listed as a midfielder only, but I do suspect that he'll probably go back to playing half-back just with the arrival of Sid Draper at the Crows. And that's been a really big, mark on the Crows, has been their lack of speed, and they're too one-dimensional with Matt Crouch and Rory Laird and whatnot. So I reckon Laird might actually go back to half-back. So he might be a DPP candidate. I'm just putting it out there. May or may not happen, but that's just devil's advocate type stuff. But if that does happen, that would be very, very handy, and he'd be a nice pickup to start with. Petrarca coming in back from injury, priced at 556.2K. Tookie Miller, injury interrupted season, 552.6K. Scrolling through. Now, Horn Francis will select him 100% because he is a forward midfielder, priced at 537K, but he will be in the forward line. Bit of a waste in the midfield, I do think, but albeit, mind you, there are a fair few of candidates to have a look at in the forward line. So we will take note of him. As I said, Max Holmes, defender midfielder, don't mind him as well. Scrolling through, Doherty coming back from one game in the regular season. Obviously did his ACL, came back for the elimination final against the Lions. He's now priced at 487.9K, but I don't think you can select him with really any confidence because I don't even know what role he's going to take up, if he's going to be playing prominently off half back, is he going to be pushed to the wing, is he going to rotate through the middle, just don't know, but have to take note of that during the preseason. Darcy Parish, injury interrupted year, only played the 12 games, priced at 481.4K. I spoke of Rivers earlier, defender midfielder. There is Wardlaw, if you think he's going to take a step up in his game and have a bit of an injury-free run at it, 461.3K. Neil Bullen, now at the Crows, 458.5K as a forward mid, averaged 85.1, which is actually more than what I thought he did in 2024. Clary Oliver, now, he is someone that is extreme value here, but big question mark, as we know. The past couple of years, he's had his off-field issues, and that's impacted him greatly. Played the 21 games in 2024, only averaged at 83.8. Fitness a query, dedication a query, but you can't go past him at that price, I think. If he is gung-ho on turning his career around, he's extreme value, probably some of the best value you'll see of a fallen primo. And as we know, it's not really due to injury as such. It's more so due to the off-field issues that he's had. So fingers crossed for Clary and for those of us that are going to take the punt on him. So I don't mind him. Scrolling through, Chera only played the 12 games due to multiple hamstrings. I wouldn't be selecting him with any confidence. I'm just hopeful as a Carlton man that he actually comes back and has a nice run at it. But he's priced at 447.7K. Callahan, does he take another step up in his game for the Giants? 441.6K, maybe. Will Ashcroft only played the 9 games, averaged 81.9. Really, really nice value, 441.2K. So we'll whack him in there at the moment. Harley Reid is priced only a midfielder, priced at 434K on the dot, averaged an 80.5. Could he be someone to step up again? I mean, he's an absolute freak, as you know. Does he play more midfield time? Maybe. So I don't mind him either. We'll just select him for now. But there's only so many of these guys you can really select. But as I said earlier, with the value in the forward line, you might be able to go a little bit deeper with sort of these mid-priced, / awkward price players in the midfield. Scrolling. Simpkin, 18 games, injury interrupted season, forward mid. Might be able to select him, 429.3K in the forward line if you are daring enough. Cogs, another one, 427.8K. Only played the 13 games, had the horrific injury, the facial injury, the fracture, and concussion, other issues as well. He is really nice value there. Shea Bolton, forward midfielder, 416.1k if you are brave enough. I'm not. Matt Kennedy now at the Dogs, forward mid, 414.4k. Ollie Dempsey's 408.1k. Tom Mitchell, he, by all reports, has sustained another setback in the preseason at the Pies. He's priced at 395.2k, but yeah, I wouldn't be selecting him with any confidence considering his body is breaking down now. Bailey Smith, he is going to be in virtually every side. Forward midfielder, 389.2k. That is crazy value. Crazy value coming off that ACL and now at the Cats as well. So he's definitely someone you want to select. And, if you are a bit too stacked in the forward line, you can select him in the midfield as well. But we will try and select him in the forward line, as I said. So we'll continue scrolling through. Jack Graham now at the Eagles as a forward mid, 376k on the dot. He's someone you could look at. Nat Fife, he's going to try and trick anyone to select him again. Not me, not I, says the fly. 372.8k for Fifey. James Peatling, 352.8k, an absolute ball magnet now at the Crows. Darcy Wilson, an interesting one, 351.9k, forward midfielder for the Saints. Luke Parker now at the Roos, 343.6k as well as a forward mid. So he's someone to look at. Sam Berry had a late run at it and really stepped up his average later in the season, 342.8k, so good value there. Sorry, that's Will. I was speaking about Graham earlier. I was getting confused. Different Grahams at the Suns, but Will Graham, the draftee from last year, 341.7k this year. Riley Sanders is a forward mid, 339.1k. He is a really nice prospect, but as we know, is he going to get a full run at it under Bevo? Can you trust him? Archie Roberts, defender mid, spoke of him. Will Phillips at the Roos, 336.5k. Does he get a full crack at it? Don't know. Scrolling through. Windsor, 321.3k. Mateus Philippou, now he is someone that I think we need to look at very closely. 313.8k as a forward mid. So he's held that DPP status, which is extra handy. But he was a breakout in the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season. So I really like him as a prospect. Scrolling through. Isaac Cumming, I think he's had a setback at the Crows, but he's priced at 287.7k. Caleb Daniel, forward mid, 269.1k. He's someone that I think everyone will be selecting as well, at least most people. Great value. Will play, and that's the other thing as well with North. When we're talking about Sheasel and McKercher and stuff, there's now Daniel that's going to be playing as that rebounder. So it might mean that, as I was speaking about with Sheasel, he plays more time in the midfield, but maybe McKercher as well. Scrolling through, Cooper Lord I don't mind as well. I think he's going to be a regular in my side's lineup at Carlton, 253.8k, so I really like him. He averaged 78.5 as well. He's an absolute bull. Loves a cuddle, does Cooper Lord, and I'm expecting big things for him. So I don't mind him even at that price point. Scrolling through, Dom Sheed, you couldn't select him with any confidence. 238.4k. Liam, he's boy Campbell Chester, we say jokingly, 239.2k. Jai Clark of the Cats is 237.4k. Jack Carroll gone to the Saints from Carlton, 224.5k as a forward mid. Does he get a full crack at it? Don't know as yet. Sam Lawler, the number 1 draftee overall for the Tigs. He should play virtually every single game, but we just don't know if he's going to be playing more up forward as opposed to in the middle. But I reckon he'll get stints in the middle. So we'll select him for now. Finn O'Sullivan at the pick 2 for the Roos, 199. Jagger Smith, I really like for my mob, 194.5k. He's an instant selection for me. He's going to play every single game, barring injury, knock on wood. He's an accumulator. We know at junior level he is an absolute freak and can find the ball on a string. So really, and effective as well in terms of his disposal. So for SuperCoach, he's going to be a gun, as well as obviously in fantasy as well. Ed Allen for the Pies, 194. Will Brodie for Freo is still hanging around, 191.8k, but will he get any games? Elijah Satis for the Dons. Apologies if I butchered his surname there, but he's been in the system now for, a year or two, and he might get further opportunity at the Dons. Sid Draper, 190 on the dot as a mid only. Really like him. Accumulator, all that sort of stuff. Should play a majority of games for the Crows. Is much needed speed for the Crows. Harry Sharp crossed from Brisbane to the Demons. He is now 189.1k. Levi Ashcroft for the Lions, 185.5k. I think he should play, but I don't know where he's going to play. He's going to play more time forward. He's going to be in the wing. Is he actually be thrown into the engine room? We just don't know as yet, but he is someone that I don't mind. Josh Smiley as well. More of that Cripper type build player. 176.5k for the Tigs. Sheldrick for the Swans. He's been a forgotten man. Had injuries in 2024, 161.7k, but as we know, he is an accumulator. Taj Houghton, another draftee for the Tigs, mid forward DPP, 154k on the dot. Isaac Kako is a mid forward as well, 149.5k. And I spoke about Bo Allen. Scrolling through, Elijah Hewitt didn't play a game in 2024 for the Eagles due to injury, but he is a very juicy price of 122.8k as a forward mid as well. So really like that. So we might select him in the mids for now, but could make way up forward as well, but a definite option. Henry Husway only played the 4 games, came into the 2024 season with high raps and just didn't end up eventuating. So 121.2k for him. David Robertson for the Lions, forward mid again. He's priced at 121.2k. Don't know if he's going to really have much of a chance to break into a premiership lineup, but we will watch with interest. Continuing on. Neil Erasmus, forward mid. Played 4 games, injury interrupted. I think he's someone that you should be looking at very, very closely. I'll select him in my forward line, I think, at this stage. Scrolling through, and there's just a whole heap of draftees here. Any guys that stand out? The Camporelli twins, they're both 113.5k, which is quite fitting considering they are twins at the same price. Yeah, there's a whole heap of draftees here. There aren't really any guys that stand out. There may be guys that I'm missing, but just quickly scrolling through, that is that. For the rucks, Maxi Gawn. Okay, these are the top 5. I will go top 10 because the 10th player is the most relevant, one of the most relevant. Maxi Gawn is the most expensive player, 668.9k. Cherry is 645.9. Rowan Marshall, 603.5. Nan Curvis, 594 on the dot. Tim English, 581.9k. Jared Witts, 581.3. Brody Grundy, 574.4. Darcy Cameron, 566.5. Lloyd Meek in 9th spot, 557.6. And then rounding us out, Tom DeConning at 547.1k. Juicy price point there, as we know, due to the late season injury that ruled him out, DeConning. So I really like him at that price point. He's someone I think I will be starting. I reckon I'll be fading Gorney for the first time in quite a while. Tristan Cherry loves a cuddle. He is that prototype ruckman that can really do it all. Mark, rack up the disposals, loves a tackle. I think he averaged about 8 tackles a game or something ridiculous in 2024 or close to it. So he is a lock and load for me, and don't really like anyone else that really sticks out. I mean, Sean Darcy in 11th spot, most expensive, 529.4k. Will not be touching him at all. Luke Jackson, interestingly enough, has kept his forward ruck eligibility. Scrolling through. Toby Conway, he's really expensive. Considering he should take over the mantle at the Cats, 343.1k. Matt Flynn, I really, really like, 261.9k. Ruck only, but you would think that he is the number one ruckman at the Eagles. Had a really injury interrupted year in 2024. So I like him potentially for the flex spot because he could double as that, cash cow, but also, as we know, the ruckman, they can score out of their ass. So I really like that. Ticks both boxes there as that flex and cash cow all in one. So I like him. Premiership ruckman, Darcy Fort, 190.5k. And yeah, there's a whole heap of rookies here, as we know, as usual. Forward ruck, we might try and lock in. Are there any guys that stand out that might get early games? Not really. Nothing as yet. So we might just get the cheapest ruck forward. Thomas Sims is 113.5k for the Tigs. So we'll whack him in there on the bench for now. And let's move across to the forward line to round us out. And we will go through the top 10 as usual. So Horn Francis is the most expensive player, believe it or not, 537k on the dot as a forward mid. So we will be locking him in. And as we said, the forward line is just stocked, chock full of value here. Dylan Moore is the second most expensive, 526.7. Rankin is 521.6. Luke Jackson, 509.3. Jesse Hogan, 497.8. Brent Daniels, 485. Harry Mackay, just a few actual key forwards in here, which speaks to the lack of quality that we had to choose from in 2024. But Mackay, 467.2. Jezza Cameron, 466.1. Alex Neil-Bullen in ninth spot at 458.5 as a forward mid. And Josh Tracy rounding us out at 454 on the dot. So, yeah, that's pretty much the top 10. So let's continue scrolling on. Liam Baker now at the Eagles as a forward mid is a 443.6k. Continue on and scrolling through. Cam Rayner's a forward only again. Shea Bolton, I spoke about him, 416.1 as a forward mid, but I would rather not. Jack McRae is a lock and load, 392.2k. Wow, incredible. Bailey Smith, another lock and load, forward mid, 389.2k. So that's already 3 spots eaten up already. James Harms comes at a little bit of a discount, only played the 8 games due to opportunity and injury. Forward mid, 380.6k, but no, not for me. Jack Graham now at the Eagles, forward mid, 376k on the dot. There's Zach Williams, but no, too injury prone. Defender forward, 366.4. Lukosius now at Port is 363.1k. He's a bit of an interesting watch because we want to see if he's playing up forward or in defence. If he's playing in defence, he might be a bit of a smoky, but not at that awkward price point, I don't think, as yet. Spoke about Darcy Wilson from the Saints, forward mid. Luke Parker could potentially be one. Do we select him for now? Maybe we might just put him in there for now. Tim Membry now at the Pies, 341.7k, but don't think he'll get much of a crack, or at least be relevant. Likewise, Stringer, 340.2k now at the Giants. Spoke about Riley Sanders, 339.1k, forward mid. I don't mind him, but we'll put him in there just for now. There's no other guy standing out. Philippou, yes, we spoke about him. He's in. Joe Richards now at Port. Ooh, 308.9. It's a bit of a hefty price tag, considering he only played the 9 games. But anyway. Sam Day. I thought he was going to be a bit of a cheapie, but he's not for the Lions. 302.6k. Only played the 5 games, averaged 70.2. That is rough. I thought he would have been cheaper than that. But anyway. Jack Dowling now at the Roos, 299.4k. Oscar Allen, 298.8. Matt Owies at the Eagles, 288.2. But not relevant. Scrolling through. Caleb Daniel is the other man I was looking for. 269.1k forward mid. He is a lock and load. Bradley Humphrey is another interesting watch as well. 270.4k. If he plays more time through the middle, which I don't know if he will due to opportunity, but if he does and can recapture his debut season form, watch out. Ben Hobbs as well, 262.7 as a forward only. Does he get more time through the middle? Maybe. Jack Silvani, 259.8k as a forward only. Don't know where he's going to play though. The role is the big question. Finn McRae, we've spoken about this guy for 3 seasons on end now. Is he going to get an opportunity consistently for the Pies? Don't know. Forward mid, 237.7k. Now we're into the 220 range. There's nothing that stands out. It's Tom Lynch, 183.2k if you want to go down that route. Could be a nice cash cow, but I wouldn't be playing him on field. Sam Powell-Pepper. Now, he did his, ACL, I think it was. 180.5k. Really like him. As we know, midfielder can pinch hit up forward, plays at a high half forward. Don't mind him more so than Tom Lynch, considering the role. It's Taj Houghton. Yes, maybe. Jack Martin now at the Cats, 150.9k. Injury prone. Does he get opportunity? Don't know. Isaac Kakao. Now, we don't have any more money. And we need another bench player and we need another flex player. So this is what I was speaking about with regards to selecting players willy-nilly and then being like, oh, wait, we need to backtrack. We need to find a bit of cash. So I do think we will need to find cash in the midfield. Or at least drop one of these guys in the forward line of the ilk of a Parker, which I might do, because Isaac Kakao might be someone that can play on field week in, week out. But as we know, as a role of a small forward, it can be very inconsistent. Quinton Narkle now at Freo, 144.9k. Joe Berry, the small forward, drafted by Port, 140.5k. Okay, now we're into the rookie pricing, 119.9. So Neil Erasmus, will select him, forward midfielder, just for now. And we don't have a forward ruck here. Ashton Moyer is another one. I reckon he'll play probably 75% of the season, 119.9k, a really nice cash cow. I like him. Can we select him? We can, but he'd be a flex, but I want to reserve that for the bloke that I spoke of, Flynn, coming back from injury for the Eagles. But I do like Ashton Moyer. I just don't know if I'll be able to fit him in. Which we might be able to do if we might drop Sanders just for now. And we'll put Ashton Moyer in because we need about 200 and something K for Flynn. But let's continue on looking in the forward line. Yeah, there are guys galore here, rookies that could play, but we can't definitively say if they're going to get a crack early on. So it's just really they're just names at the moment. So we'll scroll through. Yeah, and that's that. So let's have a look at the flex position. And as I said, like at the moment, if I've cleared out Sanders at 311, I'm now left with 311.7k. And at that price point, this is the beauty of the flex as well, because it opens up so much in terms of who you can select. So let's have a look. in that price range. So again, with the flex, you can select anyone from any position. So this is where the fun is. This is where the fun comes into it. But just scrolling through the flex position of all guys priced under 311.7K, there isn't really anyone that stands out apart from my man Flynn that I think is someone which should be under strong consideration as that flex option. As I said, Bailey Humphrey, like there are definite smokies here, but I think when we're talking about, guys that are going to get really good opportunity, play every week and have really nice ceiling scores, provided he's fit, I do like Matt Flynn. That leaves him with 49.8K. If we just save that team for now, again, this can change and it will change a million times over, but just to give you a bit of an idea of how you can select your side, that is it. So I'll round it out in terms of the guys that I've selected for those people tuning into the audio podcast. And the way that I've done it, I'll break it down first in terms of primos and then mid-prices / rookies. So in defense, we've got Flanders, Sheasel, Mills as sort of the two primos in Flanders and Sheasel, Mills being that mid-pricer or, fallen primo. Coleman, 269.1K as that mid-pricer. But as we know, he can score quite well and probably should. Taking back the reins as that rebounder in defense for the Lions. Travalia and then Gipkiss rounding us out on field. And then on the bench, Patton and Al Hawley. And then for the midfielders, so Flanders and Sheasel, two primos, the two mid-prices in Mills and Coleman, and then the two rookies in Travalia and Gipkiss, and then obviously Patton and Al Hawley on the bench. For the midfielders, we have Dacos, Sarong, Oliver, Will Ashcroft, Harley Reid, Philippou, Lawler, and Bo Allen. And then we have also Jagger Smith, Draper, and Hewitt. So we'll have in terms of the structure there, Dacos and Sarong, two primos, Fallen Primo in Oliver, Ashcroft and Reid as those two players who can take up the next step. Then Philippou, as we know, he can score quite well. And then rookies, Lawler, Allen, Jagger Smith, Draper, and Elijah Hewitt. For the rucks, we have Cherry and DeConning. And on the bench there, we just have a bit of a placeholder, Sims from the Tigs as a ruck forward. And then for the forward line, we have Horn Francis, McRae, Bailey Smith, Caleb Daniel, all as really, really great value players. Then we have, in terms of rookies, Isaac Kako, Ashton Moyer, and then fallen mid-pricer, or you could probably say Pal Pepper, and then Neil Erasmus as well. And then in the flex, we have Matt Flynn from the Eagles. So I'm left with 49.8K. I can rejig, and I will no doubt to try and put some extra money on the head of other players to get them up, and then to try and find other value players that I have potentially skipped over. But that's just to give you an idea of the way things look, pricing-wise, everything else. And that is it. But if you have any questions, let us know. I will, and I'm always happy to help you out and address them. So list them down in the comment section below if you are watching us on YouTube. Likewise, if you are tuning in to the audio podcast, feel free to hit us up on socials as well at supercoach_edge. You can hit up myself directly at DamoJ88 and Liam as well on, I forget his handle, but it's Liam Evans. I forget it. He's going to kill me for this, but I absolutely forget his handle. But having said that, he is, and I should have mentioned from the top, he's actually on his honeymoon at the moment over in Europe. So absolutely living it up, living the dream he is. So I'm here to man the fort and thought I'd kick things off. But as always, if you have enjoyed our videos, feel free to subscribe, give us a like, because the best way to let us know that you're enjoying our content on YouTube, at least if you're watching us on here, is to hit that subscribe button. And likewise, if you're tuning in to the audio podcast, don't forget to give us five stars. Give us a rating as well if you have a review, I should say, if you have a bit of extra time up your sleeve. But with that, that is it. And we've kept this video below an hour mark, which is good. But we kept it a little bit longer now just so I could go through and scroll through so you could see the prices for each player here on YouTube. And as I said, if you are tuning into the audio podcast, jump across to YouTube, check out visually all the pricing of the players, and you can pause, you can go a half speed, all that sort of stuff, and check it out if you aren't a subscriber to SuperCoach Plus, because if you're not, you don't get access to the team picker. But that's it, ladies and gents. Thanks as always for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. It is exciting times. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you in the next one.